Admiral Kang Wu stood on the bridge of the Dauntless and watched the stars through the main viewing window. His ship was Earth's newest deep space vessel, and he felt proud to command it. The Dauntless had been exploring the outer rim of human space for 3 months now. They had found nothing but empty star systems and old rocks floating in space. "Admiral," called out Lieutenant Park from the communication station, "we're getting a transmission. It's coming from outside our solar system." Kang Wu turned around. "From outside? Are you sure?" "Yes, sir. The signal is very strong, much stronger than anything we can make." Kang Wu felt his heart beat faster. This was it. First contact with alien life. Humanity had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer. "Put it on the main screen," he ordered. The viewing window changed to show a large chamber filled with strange beings. They sat in a circle around a glowing platform. The beings were tall and thin with skin that looked like metal. Their eyes were huge and black. In the center of the circle stood the largest of these creatures. "Greetings, primitive species of the third planet," the central being said. Its voice was deep and cold. "I am Zephyros, Prime Counselor of the Galactic Council. We have watched your species for some time. You call yourselves humans?" Kang Wu looked at his crew. They all stared at the screen with wide eyes. He stepped forward. "This is Admiral Kang Wu of the Earth vessel Dauntless. We welcome contact with your people." Zephyros made a sound that might have been laughter. "Contact? No, primitive one. This is not contact. This is your notice of surrender." The bridge went silent. Kang Wu felt cold. "Surrender?" he asked. "Yes. The Galactic Council has ruled this galaxy for 3,000 of your years. All species must follow our laws. You will give us all your weapons. You will let us watch over your world. You will give us 40% of everything you make. If you do not agree, we will destroy your planet and everyone on it." Kang Wu looked at his communications officer. "Are you recording this?" "Yes, sir. Everything." "Good. Send it to Earth Command immediately." He turned back to the screen. "We will need time to discuss your request. You have 1 rotation of your planet, 24 of your hours. Then we expect your surrender. Do not test us, humans. We have destroyed many worlds that refuse to obey." The transmission ended. The bridge stayed quiet for a long moment. "Sir?" said Lieutenant Park. "The message has been sent to Earth." Kang Wu nodded. "Set course for home. Best speed." On Earth, President Lee Bo-young sat in the emergency meeting room deep under the Capitol building. Around the table sat the most important people in the Earth government. General Park Tae-wan, the head of Earth's military, played the alien message for the 3rd time. "So," said President Lee when it finished, "they want us to surrender everything and become their slaves." "That's what it sounds like," said General Park. "They claim to rule the whole galaxy." Dr. Kim Soo-jin, Earth's top expert on alien life, looked up from her tablet. "I've been studying the recording. Look at their bodies. They're very tall and thin. Their bones must be hollow like birds. They probably come from a world with much less gravity than Earth." "What does that mean?" asked President Lee. "It means they're weak. Much weaker than humans. Look at how they move. Everything is slow and careful. They've never had to fight for survival like we have." General Park leaned forward. "What about their technology? Those ships they showed us look very advanced." "Yes, their technology is better than ours. But technology isn't everything. We've learned that in every war humans have ever fought." President Lee stood up and walked to the big screen showing Earth from space. "They think we're primitive. They think we'll just give up without a fight. Will we fight?" asked General Park. President Lee turned around and smiled. It was not a nice smile. "General, please send a message to this Galactic Council." "What should it say, Madam President?" "Tell them exactly what the defenders of Earth have always told invaders. Come and take it." General Park smiled too. "Yes, ma'am." Back on the Council Nexus, Zephyros waited for Earth's surrender message. Around him, the other Council members talked quietly. They had done this many times before. Show overwhelming force, demand surrender, and the primitive species always gave up. It was simple and clean. "Prime Counselor," called his aide, "we have received Earth's response." "Excellent. Put it on the main display." The screen showed a simple text message. Zephyros read it out loud. "Come and take it." The council chamber fell silent. "Is this some kind of mistake?" asked Counselor Vextar. "No mistake," said the aide. "That is their complete message." Zephyros felt something he had not felt in a very long time. Confusion. In 3,000 years, no species had ever refused to surrender. Not one. Perhaps they do not understand, suggested Counselor Quintal. Send them recordings of what happened to the last 3 worlds that refused us. Already done, sir. Their response was the same. Come and take it. Zephyros stood up slowly. His long, thin body shook with anger. Very well. If they choose destruction, we will give it to them. Send the pacification fleet to their system. Show them what happens when primitives challenge the Council. On Earth, President Lee met with her military commanders. The aliens had given them 1 day, but that day was almost over. Are we ready? She asked. As ready as we can be, said General Park. Our ships are moving into position. Our ground forces are prepared. Every human on and off planet knows what's coming. Dr. Kim Soo-jin looked worried. Their fleet is much larger than ours. Their ships are bigger and more advanced. Maybe, said President Lee, but they've never fought anyone who fought back. We have. Admiral Kang Woo's voice came over the communication system from the Dauntless. Madam President, we have visual contact with the alien fleet. 12 massive ships, each one the size of a small moon. How do they look, Admiral? Impressive, ma'am. But I've seen bigger storms on Jupiter. My crew is ready, President Lee smiled. Give them hell, Admiral. With pleasure, ma'am. In space, the Council fleet moved toward Earth like a wall of metal and death. They had conquered hundreds of worlds with this same fleet. Today would be no different. But on every human ship, in every human base, on every human world, people were not surrendering. They were loading weapons, checking systems, and getting ready to fight. The Galactic Council had ordered Earth's surrender. Humanity just chuckled and prepared for war. Captain Yoon Hai-jin checked his fighters' weapons one last time. Around him, 50 other human pilots did the same thing. Their ships were small compared to the alien vessels approaching Earth, but they were fast and deadly. All fighters, this is Control, came the voice from Earth Command. The alien fleet has entered our solar system. They're moving toward Earth. Yoon looked out at the massive alien ships through his cockpit window. Each one was bigger than any human city. They looked like they were made of living metal that moved and shifted like breathing skin. Control, this is Captain Yoon. Those ships are huge. What's our plan? Hit them hard and fast, Captain. Show them what human fighters can do. Copy that, Control. All pilots follow my lead. Let's welcome our guests. On the largest alien ship, Admiral Thexmore watched the small human vessels approach. The alien admiral was even taller and thinner than the council members. His skin was pale blue and his forearms moved like water. Admiral, said his aide, the primitive vessels are approaching. Should we destroy them? Thexmore looked at the tiny human fighters on his screen. No, let them come close. I want to speak with them first. Perhaps seeing our power will make them surrender. The aide opened a communication channel. Thexmore spoke in what he thought was a kind voice. Attention, primitive vessels. This is Admiral Thexmore of the Council Pacification Fleet. You are completely outmatched. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick. Captain Yoon's voice came back immediately. It sounded almost happy. Hello there, Admiral. This is Captain Yoon of the Earth Defense Force. I have a question for you. Speak quickly, primitive. Which one of you wants to die first? Thexmore stared at his communication screen. In 3,000 years of conquest, no one had ever asked him that question. I do not understand, he said. It's simple. We're going to kill all of you. I'm just being polite and letting you choose the order. The alien bridge went silent. Thexmore looked at his crew. They all looked as confused as he felt. You cannot be serious. Look at our ships. Look at your tiny vessels. We could destroy you with one weapon. Maybe, said Captain Yoon. But you'd have to hit us first. Suddenly, every human fighter moved at the same time. They spread out and dove toward the alien ships at full speed. The aliens had never seen anything move so fast or with such coordination. All weapons target the small ships, ordered Thexmore. The alien bioships fired their energy weapons. Beams of pure light shot out toward the human fighters, but the humans were already gone, moving in patterns that seemed impossible to predict. Admiral, called out one of the alien officers, the primitive vessels are firing on us. On his fighter, Captain Yoon locked onto the largest alien ship and pulled the trigger. His railgun fired a tungsten rod at incredible speed. The rod hit the alien ship's hull and punched right through it like it was made of paper. All around the alien fleet, human fighters were doing the same thing. Their kinetic weapons shot metal rods that the alien bioships couldn't stop. The aliens had never faced weapons like these before. Impossible, said Thexmore as alarms rang throughout his ship. Our hulls are designed to absorb energy weapons. Sir, said his aide, these aren't energy weapons. They're throwing metal at us. Another tungsten rod hit Thexmore's ship. Then another. The biohull tried to heal itself, but it couldn't handle the damage fast enough. On Earth, Lieutenant Colonel Oda Un prepared her Marines for boarding action. She had been a soldier for 15 years and had never backed down from a fight. Listen up, she told her troops. Those alien ships are damaged. We're going aboard to capture technology and prisoners. Remember, these aliens think we're primitive. Let's show them what humans do best, her Marines cheered. They loaded into assault shuttles and flew toward the wounded alien ships. The aliens tried to stop them, but human pilots were too good and too fast. Oda-Un's shuttle crashed through the hull of the largest alien ship. Her Marines poured out, weapons ready. The inside of the ship was dark and warm with walls that looked alive. Move, secure the area, she ordered. The first alien soldier they met was over 7 feet tall, but so thin he looked like he might break in a strong wind. When he saw the humans, he raised a weapon that looked like a crystal rod. Oda-Un moved faster than the alien could think. She grabbed his weapon and threw him against the wall. The alien hit the wall and didn't get up. She looked down at him in surprise. That's it, she said. I barely touched him. Her sergeant came over and checked the alien. Ma'am, I think his arm is broken. And maybe some ribs. But I was being gentle. I know, ma'am. These aliens are really weak. Oda-Un spoke into her radio. Control, this is Da-Yun. These aliens are much more fragile than we thought. They break very easily. More Marines reported the same thing. The aliens were tall and had good technology, but they were physically weak. Their bones broke easily. They moved slowly. What seemed like normal human strength was overwhelming to them. On the alien command ship, Thexmore received reports from all over his fleet. Half his ships were damaged. His boarding teams were being defeated by the humans in hand-to-hand combat. Nothing was going according to plan. Admiral, said his aide, we should retreat, regroup and plan a new attack. Thexmore couldn't believe what he was hearing. Retreat? The Council fleet had never retreated from anything. No, we have 12 ships. They have a few dozen small fighters. But even as he spoke, another human railgun shot hit his ship. The biohull cracked and began bleeding a green fluid. Sir, the ship is dying. We need to leave now. Captain Yoon's voice came over the communication system again. Admiral Thexmore, are you still there? We're not done talking yet. What do you want? Thexmore asked. I want to make something clear. You came here to make us surrender. But we don't surrender. We fight. And when we fight, we win. Tell your council that humans are not like the other species you've conquered. How are you different? We're not prey, Admiral. We're predators, and you just walked into our hunting ground. 2 more human fighters attacked Thexmore's ship. This time they used missiles instead of railguns. The explosions tore huge holes in the biohull. All ships retreat, ordered Thexmore. Emergency jump to council space. The alien ships began to move away from Earth. Their biohulls were healing, but slowly. Green blood floated in space where they had been damaged. Captain Yoon watched them go. Control, this is Yoon. The aliens are running away. Copy that, Captain. Good work. Return to base. On Earth, President Lee watched the alien retreat on the main screen. General Park stood beside her, smiling. They weren't expecting that, said the general. No, they weren't. Dr. Kim was right. They're used to fighting species that give up easily. Dr. Kim Soo-jin looked up from her analysis of the battle. Madam President, I've been studying their ship technology. It's very advanced, but it's designed for fighting other energy-based weapons. They've never faced kinetic weapons before. What does that tell us? It tells us they've been fighting the same kind of battles for thousands of years. They're not used to adapting to new threats. President Lee nodded. And humans are very good at adapting. In council space, emergency messages were flying between all the member worlds. The impossible had happened. A primitive species had not only refused to surrender, they had defeated a council fleet. On the council nexus, Zephyros read the battle reports with growing fear. No species had ever made the council retreat. Not once in 3,000 years. What are these humans? He asked his aide. I don't know, Prime Counselor, but they're not like anything we've encountered before. Zephyros looked at the images of damaged council ships. Send messages to all our allies. We need reinforcements. Many reinforcements, but across the galaxy other species were watching. They had seen the humans fight. They had seen the mighty council retreat. For the first time in thousands of years, Some of them began to think that maybe the Council wasn't as powerful as they claimed. The word spread quickly through galactic civilization. There was a species that fought back. A species that won. A species called humans. The galaxy would never be the same. Commander Beck Minho stood on the bridge of the Retribution, Earth's newest warship. Unlike the Dauntless, which was built for exploration, the Retribution was made for one thing: hunting. And right now they were hunting aliens. "Sir," said Lieutenant Park at the navigation station, "we've tracked the alien fleet to the Kepler system. 3 ships are hiding behind the gas giant." Beck smiled. "The aliens thought they were safe. They were wrong. Take us in, Lieutenant. Nice and quiet." The Retribution moved through space like a shark through dark water. Behind them came 5 other human ships, all loaded with the new weapons Earth had built after studying the alien technology they had captured. On Earth, Dr. Song Jae-wook worked in his laboratory with pieces of alien bioship hull. The material was amazing. It could heal itself and absorb energy weapons, but it had one big weakness: it's alive, he told his team. "The whole ship is one giant living creature. That's why our kinetic weapons work so well. We're not just damaging metal. We're hurting a living thing." His assistant, Dr. Lee Min-ho, looked up from his microscope. "That explains why they retreat when damaged. The ship feels pain." "Exactly. And living things have other weaknesses too. They need food. They get sick. They can be poisoned." Dr. Song smiled as he worked on a new type of ammunition. If the alien ships were alive, he would make bullets that would make them very sick. In the Kepler system, Commander Bayek brought his fleet close to the alien ships. The aliens had chosen a good hiding spot behind the gas giant's rings, but human sensors were better than they thought. "Sir," said his tactical officer, "the alien ships are trying to repair themselves. They're absorbing minerals from the planet's rings." "Not anymore, they're not. All ships target the lead vessel. Fire on my mark." The human ships opened fire together, but this time they weren't using simple tungsten rods. Dr. Song's new ammunition hit the alien bioships and began to spread through their living hulls like a disease. On the alien command ship, Captain Velthar watched in horror as his vessel began to die. The human weapons weren't just making holes. They were poisoning his ship from the inside. "Medical team to the hull sections," he ordered. "The ship is sick." But it was too late. The poison spread faster than the biohull could heal. Green blood leaked from every wound. The ship's living systems began to shut down. "Captain," said his communications officer, "the humans are sending us a message." Commander Bayek's voice came over the speakers. "Alien vessel, this is Commander Bayek of the Earth Fleet. Surrender now and we might let your ship live." Velthar couldn't believe what he was hearing. The humans were offering mercy to his ship. Not to him or his crew, but to his ship. "How do they know?" he whispered. "Know what, sir?" "How do they know our ships are alive?" On the Retribution, Bayek watched the alien ship struggle. Its biohull was turning from silver to sick yellow. The poison was working exactly as Dr. Song had promised. "Sir," said his tactical officer, "the alien ship is surrendering. They're powering down their weapons." "Good, send boarding teams. I want prisoners and I want their computer systems." Lieutenant Colonel Oda Un led the boarding party onto the alien ship. This time she knew what to expect. The aliens were tall but weak. She had trained her Marines to be very careful not to hurt them too much. "Remember," she told her team, "these aliens break easily. We need them alive for questioning." The inside of the alien ship was even stranger than before. The walls were clearly alive, moving slowly like they were breathing. Some sections were bleeding the green fluid where the poison had spread. They found Captain Velthar on the bridge, surrounded by his crew. The alien captain was even taller than the others, with 4 arms instead of 2, but he looked just as fragile. "I am Lieutenant Colonel Oda Un of Earth Forces," she said. "You are now our prisoners." Velthar stared at her. "How did you poison our ship?" "No species has ever learned to fight biotechnology. We're fast learners," O said. "Now I need access to your computer systems." "Impossible. Our technology is far beyond your understanding." O sighed and picked up an alien data tablet. She looked at it for a moment, then pressed a few symbols. The device activated and began showing ship information. Velthar's 4 eyes went wide. "How did you do that?" "Lucky guess," O said. But it wasn't luck. Human intelligence teams had been studying captured alien technology for weeks. The aliens' computer systems were advanced, but they followed logical patterns that humans could understand. Back on Earth, Fleet Admiral Choi Young-soo looked at the reports coming in from all over human space. Commander Bayek's mission was just one of many. Human fleets were hunting down alien ships across 3 star systems. "How many alien ships have we destroyed or captured?" he asked his aide. 17 destroyed, 8 captured, sir. We estimate the alien fleet has lost about 60% of its strength. Good. And our losses? 3 fighters damaged, no ships lost, no crew deaths. Admiral Choi nodded. The aliens were learning that humans didn't fight like other species. When humans went to war, they went to win completely. On the Council Nexus, emergency meetings had been happening for 3 days straight. The council members sat in their circle, but now they looked afraid. "The humans are hunting our ships," said Councillor Quintal. "They're not just defending their world. They're attacking us across multiple systems." Prime Councillor Zephyros looked older than his 3,000 years. "This is impossible. No species has ever done this to us." "Maybe that's the problem," said Councillor Vextar. "We've never fought a species that fights back this hard." "What do you mean?" "I've been studying the reports. Look at how the humans fight. They don't just defend. They attack, they hunt. They don't stop until their enemy is completely defeated." Zephyros looked at the battle reports on his screen. Human fleets were moving through space like they owned it. They attacked alien ships, captured technology, took prisoners, and then moved on to find more targets. "They fight like predators," he said. "Yes," said Vextar. "And we've been prey for so long we forgot how to fight predators." An aide rushed into the chamber. "Prime Councillor, emergency message from the Crystalline Confederacy." "What do they want?" "They're refusing to send military aid. They say the humans are too dangerous to fight." Zephyros stood up so fast he almost fell over. "What? The Crystalline Confederacy has been our ally for 2,000 years. Sir, they've seen the battle recordings. Their council says, and I quote, 'No species fights with such coordination after only decades in space. The humans are apex persistence predators adapted for warfare.'" More messages came in. The Void Shepherds were also refusing to help. The Metal King said they needed to reconsider their strategic position. One by one, the Council's allies were abandoning them. On Earth, President Lee met with her War Council. The news was all good. "Madam President," said General Park, "our fleets have pushed the aliens completely out of our local space. They're retreating to the Galactic core. How are they responding? They're calling for help from their allies, but most of their allies are refusing to get involved." Dr. Kim Soo-jin looked up from her alien studies. "That makes sense. The aliens rule through fear. But if their subjects see that the Council can be defeated, that fear disappears." "What's our next move?" asked President Lee. Admiral Choi stood up. "We keep hunting. We don't stop until every alien ship is either destroyed or captured. We show the galaxy that humanity doesn't just win battles. We win wars," President Lee nodded. "Do it." In space, Commander Bayek finished loading the captured alien technology onto his ship. The alien crew was in the Retribution's holding cells, being treated well but kept secure. "Sir," said his communications officer, "we're getting reports of more alien ships in the next system." "Set course," ordered Bayek. "The hunt continues." Behind them, the poisoned alien bioship died slowly in the cold vacuum of space. It was the first of many. Across the galaxy, the word was spreading. The humans were coming. They didn't negotiate. They didn't accept surrender easily. They hunted until nothing was left. For the first time in 3,000 years, the Galactic Council was afraid, and in human space, people were just getting started. Ambassador Young So-young sat in her office on the Earth orbital station when the first secret message arrived. She had been Earth's top diplomat for 10 years, but she had never received a message like this one. The transmission came from somewhere called the Iron Throne Collective. The message was short. "We have watched you fight the Council. We want to talk." Young looked at the message again. During her years as a diplomat, she had learned to read between the lines. This wasn't just a friendly hello. This was a request for alliance. "Computer, what do we know about the Iron Throne Collective?" The computer displayed information on her screen. The Iron Throne Collective consists of 47 star systems. They have been under Council rule for 800 years. They provide mining materials and manufactured goods to the Council. Jung smiled. "So they're slaves just like the Council wanted us to be." More messages came in over the next few days. The Metal King sent a careful diplomatic note. The Crystal Gardens asked about trade opportunities. The Silicon Republic wanted to exchange cultural information. Jung realized what was happening. Word of humanity's victories was spreading through the galaxy. Species that had been under council rule for centuries were starting to think they might have another option. She walked to President Lee's office with a folder full of messages. "Madam President, I think we need to talk." President Lee looked at the diplomatic messages Jung showed her. There were dozens of them, all from different alien species. "They all want the same thing," said Jung. "Freedom from the council." "How many species are we talking about?" "So far, over 200 worlds have made contact, and more messages are coming in every hour." President Lee sat back in her chair. "We started this war to defend Earth. Now it looks like we're accidentally starting a galactic revolution." "It's not an accident, ma'am. The Council has been bullying the galaxy for thousands of years. We're the first species that's ever fought back successfully. Everyone else wants to know how we did it." Captain Nam Ki-young commanded the Earth intelligence ship Silent Hunter. His job was to find Council supply bases and gather information. But what he found in the Vega system was much more interesting than supplies. "Sir," said his intelligence officer, "you need to see this." Nam looked at the data his team had gathered from the captured Council computers. What he saw made him angry. "This can't be right," he said. "I've checked it 3 times, sir. It's accurate." The data showed the truth about the great galactic civilization the Council claimed to lead. It wasn't a civilization at all. It was a protection racket covering half the galaxy. The Council species themselves contributed almost nothing. They didn't mine resources. They didn't build ships. They didn't grow food. They simply sat in their space stations and collected tribute from thousands of conquered worlds. "They're parasites," said Nam. "They produce nothing and take everything." "Sir, there's more. Look at this." The data showed that the Council's greatest fear wasn't invasion or rebellion. It was economic collapse. If enough worlds stopped paying tribute, the Council species would starve. They had forgotten how to take care of themselves. Nam sent the information back to Earth immediately. This changed everything. On the Council Nexus, High Arbiter Velnash called an emergency meeting of the Inner Circle. These were the 12 most powerful beings in Council space, and they all looked terrified. "The situation is much worse than we thought," said Velnash. "The humans are not just winning battles. They're destroying our entire way of life." "How?" asked Prime Counselor Zephyros. "Look at this data." Velnash showed them reports from across Council space. 43 worlds have stopped sending tribute. 67 more have reduced their payments. The humans are telling everyone that we're weak. "But we are weak," said Counselor Quintal quietly. The room went silent. No one had ever said that out loud before. "We've been weak for 1,000 years, Quintal continued. We stopped fighting our own battles. We stopped building our own ships. We stopped growing our own food. All we do is take from others. Silence, ordered Velnash. We rule this galaxy. Do we look around? Half our fleet is destroyed. Our allies won't help us. Our subjects are refusing to pay tribute. What exactly do we rule?" Velnash stood up, his tall, thin body shaking with rage. "Then we will use the ultimate weapon. If we cannot rule the galaxy, no one can." The other council members looked at him in shock. "You mean the stellar collapse bombs?" asked Zephyros. "Yes, we will destroy the human home system completely. We will show the galaxy what happens when anyone challenges us." The stellar collapse bombs were the Council's most secret weapon. They could make a star explode and destroy entire solar systems. The Council had built them 1,000 years ago but had never used them. The threat alone had been enough to keep everyone in line. "But sir," said Counselor Vexistar, "if we use those weapons, we become no better than cosmic terrorists." "Better a terrorist than a defeated fool," said Velnash. On Earth, Admiral Ko In-suk received intelligence about the Council's ultimate weapon from a captured alien officer. The alien had been cooperative after seeing how well humans treated their prisoners. "They have bombs that can destroy stars?" asked Admiral Ko. "Yes," said the alien prisoner, whose name was Theklar. "The Council built them long ago. They keep them in a secret facility in the Nexus system." "How many bombs?" 12. "One for each Council member species." Admiral Ko looked at her tactical team. "If they use those weapons on Earth, everyone dies, ma'am. The whole solar system would be destroyed. Then we need to stop them before they can use the weapons." "How?" "That facility is in the heart of Council space. It's the most heavily defended location in the galaxy." Admiral Ko smiled. It was not a friendly smile. Let me worry about that. She gathered the best military minds on Earth for a planning session. The mission was simple in concept, but almost impossible in execution. Sneak into the most secure facility in the galaxy and steal or destroy weapons that could kill stars. We can't fight our way in, said General Furky, and the defenses are too strong. We don't need to fight our way in, said Admiral Ko. We need to think our way. Inter Dr. Song Jae-wook had been studying captured Council technology for weeks. I might have an idea, he said. The Council bioships are all connected to a central network. If we could hack into that network, we could make their own ships work for us, finished Admiral Ko. Exactly, but it would require getting very close to their main computer system. How close? Someone would have to go inside the facility. The room went quiet. Everyone knew what that meant. It was a suicide mission. I'll go, said Admiral Ko. Ma'am, no, said General Park. We need you here. And Earth needs someone to stop those bombs. I'm going, Master Sergeant Ryu Dong-min stepped forward. With respect, Admiral, you're not going alone. My team and I volunteer for this mission. Admiral Ko looked at the tough sergeant and his elite soldiers. Do you understand what you're volunteering for? Yes, ma'am. We understand that if we don't do this, Earth dies. That makes it an easy choice. 3 days later, the human assault force was ready. They would use captured Council bioships to sneak into the Nexus system. Once there, they would have to fight their way to the weapons facility and either capture or destroy the stellar collapse bombs. Remember, Admiral Ko told her team, we're not just fighting for Earth anymore. Half the galaxy is watching us. If we succeed, the Council falls forever. If we fail, we won't fail, ma'am, said Sergeant Ryu. Humans don't know how to fail. The human ships jumped into hyperspace, heading for the heart of Council territory. Behind them, Earth's defenses were ready in case they didn't succeed. But across the galaxy, something else was happening. On hundreds of worlds, alien species were preparing for their own rebellions. They had seen humans fight the Council and win. Now they wanted to try it themselves. The Council had created their ultimate weapon to destroy Earth. But they didn't realize that by threatening humanity, they had already lost the war. The galaxy was choosing sides, and most of it was choosing humanity. Admiral Ko In-suk floated in space outside the Council weapons facility, watching her team prepare for the assault. The facility was built inside a hollow asteroid, protected by energy shields and automated defense systems. Getting inside would be the easy part. Getting out alive would be much harder. All teams, this is Admiral Ko. We have one chance to do this right. Remember, we're not just saving Earth, we're saving the entire galaxy from these weapons. Master Sergeant Ryu Dong-min checked his equipment one final time. His team had trained for this mission for weeks, but they all knew the plan could fall apart the moment they went inside. Sergeant Ryu to all teams, he said into his radio. Dr. Song's computer virus is ready. As soon as we reach the central computer, we upload it and let the Council's own systems destroy the bombs. And if the computer systems don't work? Asked one of his soldiers. Then we blow everything up the old-fashioned way, Ryu replied. The human assault team used their stolen Council bioship to approach the facility. The bioship's living hull made it invisible to most Council sensors. As far as the facility's defenses knew, this was just another Council vessel coming for a routine inspection. Inside the facility, High Arbiter Velnash personally oversaw the preparation of the stellar collapse bombs. Each weapon was the size of a small building and contained enough power to destroy a star. How long until the weapons are ready? He asked the chief technician. 2 hours, sir. Then we can destroy the human home system. Excellent. The humans think they've won, but they will learn that no one defeats the Council. But Velnash didn't know that human intelligence had been listening to Council communications for weeks. They knew exactly when and how the Council planned to attack Earth. The human bioship docked with the facility without any problems. Admiral Ko led her team through the docking tube and into the asteroid's corridors. The inside of the facility looked like the Council's other biotechnology. Walls that seemed alive, floors that felt soft under their feet, and lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. This place gives me the creeps, whispered one of the soldiers. Stay focused, said Admiral Ko. We have a job to do. They moved through the facility toward the central computer room. Along the way, they planted explosive charges on important systems. If Dr. Song's computer virus didn't work, they could always destroy the facility the hard way. In the main computer room, Admiral Ko found exactly what she was looking for, a direct connection to the Council's main network. She plugged in Dr. Song's virus and watched it spread through the system like fire through dry grass. "Virus is uploaded," she reported. "Beginning system infiltration now." On Earth, Dr. Song watched his creation work through the Council's computer networks. The virus was designed to look like normal Council software, but it had one special function. It could turn the Council's own technology against them. "It's working," he told President Lee. "The virus has taken control of the weapons, facilities, defense systems." President Lee watched the data stream on her screen. "How long until we know if it worked?"
"Any moment now." Inside the weapons facility, alarms suddenly began ringing throughout the asteroid.
High Arbiter Velnash ran to the control room to find chaos. "What's happening?" he demanded. "Sir, our computer systems are malfunctioning. The stellar collapse bombs are activating on their own." "Shut them down." "We can't. The computers won't respond to our commands." Velnash stared at the display screens in horror. All 12 bombs were beginning their activation sequence, but instead of targeting Earth, they were targeting the facility itself. "Evacuate. Everyone evacuate immediately." But it was too late. The bombs had been designed to prevent any possibility of capture or theft. Once they started their sequence, nothing could stop them. Admiral Ko and her team felt the facility shake around them. "That's our signal to leave," she said. "Everyone back to the ship now!" They ran through the corridors as the asteroid began tearing itself apart. The stellar collapse bombs weren't just destroying the facility. They were destroying each other in a chain reaction that would make sure no one could ever use them again. Master Sergeant Ryu carried an injured soldier as they raced for their ship. Behind them, walls were cracking and green biofluid was leaking everywhere. "Come on," shouted Admiral Ko. "We're almost there." They reached their bioship, just as the facility's power systems failed. The ship pulled away from the asteroid seconds before the entire structure exploded in a flash of light that could be seen from 3 star systems away. "All teams, sound off," ordered Admiral Ko. "Team 1, all present. Team 2, 1 wounded but alive. Team 3, ready to go home." Admiral Ko smiled as their ship jumped to hyperspace. Mission accomplished. The Council's ultimate weapon is gone. Back on Earth, President Lee addressed the galaxy from the United Nations building. But this time she wasn't speaking just to humans. Representatives from over 300 alien worlds were listening. 6 months ago, the Galactic Council ordered Earth to surrender, she began. "They threatened to destroy our world if we didn't become their slaves. Today I'm happy to report that the Council's reign of terror is over." The alien representatives in the audience looked amazed. Many of them had been under Council rule for centuries. The idea that anyone could defeat the Council had seemed impossible. "The Council ruled through fear," President Lee continued. "They convinced the galaxy that resistance was hopeless. But fear only works if people believe it, and once people stop believing, fear has no power." Admiral Kang Wu, now commanding Earth's first galactic fleet, watched the speech from his ship in orbit. Around him, ships from dozens of different worlds flew in formation. The galaxy had united under human leadership, not because humans conquered them, but because humans offered them something the Council never had: freedom. "Admiral," said his communications officer, "we're receiving surrender requests from the remaining Council worlds." "How many?" "All of them, sir. Even the Council Nexus is asking for terms." On the Council Nexus, Prime Counselor Zephyros sat alone in the empty Council chamber. His fellow Council members had all fled or surrendered individually. The great empire that had ruled for 3,000 years was gone. Dr. Kim Soo-jin had been right from the beginning. The Council species were evolutionary dead ends. They had lived in perfect safety for so long that they had forgotten how to adapt, how to innovate, and how to survive when challenged. A human diplomatic team arrived at the Nexus to negotiate the Council's surrender. Zephyros met them in the same chamber where he had first ordered Earth to surrender. "I don't understand," he told Ambassador Jung So-young. "How did you defeat us so completely?" "Your technology was inferior. Your numbers were smaller," Jung smiled. "Our technology was inferior when we started. Our numbers were smaller. But we had something you didn't." "What?" "We had a reason to fight. You were fighting to keep your slaves. We were fighting for our freedom and the freedom of everyone you had conquered. And that made a difference, all the difference in the world." The final ceremony took place on Earth, in the same room where President Lee had first received the Council's ultimatum. But now the room was filled with representatives from across the galaxy. Fleet Admiral Choi Young-soo read the terms of the new galactic government. The Terran Commonwealth offers membership to all species on an equal basis. No tribute, no forced labor, no threats of destruction, just cooperation between free peoples. The former Council worlds faced a choice. They could join the Commonwealth as equal partners, or they could remain independent with trade agreements. Most chose to join. After centuries of being slaves, they wanted to be part of something better. Dr. Song Jae-wook established the Galactic Technology Sharing Initiative. For the first time in galactic history, advanced technology would be shared freely instead of hoarded by the rulers. Captain Yoon Hae-jin, now promoted to admiral, commanded the new Galactic Defense Force. Human officers trained multi-species crews in real combat tactics. The galaxy would never again be defenseless against bullies and conquerors. But the most important change was philosophical. For 3,000 years, the galaxy had believed that the strong ruled the weak. Humans proved that cooperation was stronger than domination. 6 months after the Council's surrender, President Lee received a final message from the far edge of the galaxy. It came from a species called the Star Wanderers who lived in ships and had never been conquered by anyone. "Greetings, people of Earth," the message said. "We have watched your war with interest. We have seen many species rise and fall, but we have never seen anything like what you accomplished. You didn't just defeat the Council, you freed the galaxy." The message continued. "The Star Wanderers have a saying, the universe belongs to those brave enough to take it. For 3,000 years, the Council took it through fear. Now you have taken it through courage. Use it well." President Lee looked out at the stars through her office window. Earth was no longer alone in the universe. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as liberators. The Galactic Council had ordered Earth's surrender. Humanity had chuckled and changed the galaxy forever. In the end, it wasn't human technology or human numbers that won the war. It was the simple human refusal to give up. When faced with impossible odds, humans didn't calculate the chances of victory.